This is Kerry Graves with the Second Wind Podcast, and you are listening to a Fraser Chronicles podcast here on the Fraser Chronicles Podcast Show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fraser Chronicles podcast, where I am your host, David, aka Preacher Man. Today, I have a guest on the show named Desiree. If I say your name wrong, let me know. Desiree. And I would like for Desiree to go ahead and tell us who she is and let us help us to get to know her. And yeah, Desiree, take it away. The floor is yours.
Hey, my name is Desiree Lamar, and I am from Great Falls, South Carolina. I am the host and the owner of Sit on the Couch, Let's Talk with Ree, my podcast. I have two kids, a boy and a girl, and I came on today just to give some insights and also collect some insights from Mr. Fraser, and I am so honored that he gave me the opportunity to come on to speak to the peoples today.
Yes. So let's take it away. So you told us about who you are. You said you have a podcast. So we're going to talk about entrepreneurship. What led you to business and those things?
The things that led me to entrepreneurship was I always wanted to run my own business. I always wanted to be, I'm a people's person. I love communication, conversation. I love to meet people. And the thing that made me want to really come into the podcasting business is because, I mean, you can inspire people and you really don't even know it. When you go on your podcast, different topics that you talk about, or either different guests that you have on the podcast, you can inspire. You can, inspire people. People that's hurting. You can be a healing block for those that's hurting. People that need information on business wise, different things like that, finances. You can be there for them, and depending on the people that you have on your show, it can help others in ways that you can never imagine. I mean, you never understand the people that listen to your podcast until after that podcast is over. You might have people that come and you like, you know what, it was something that was said in that podcast that really, really stuck with me, and now I see things in life a little bit different.
Yeah. So with that being said, and you said a lot there. So is that how you got into it? You listen to a podcast and you realize like, hey, somebody said something that was very interesting. I want to be that individual. Did it kind of resonate in that way, or you kind of found it in a different light?
First off, I really feel like podcasting was my calling. Public speaking, posting, just all together talking, conferences, being a leader was my calling. And I used to listen to Steve Harvey in the morning. And every morning before his show starts and after his show gets ready to end, he always give a quote, or he always tell people about, how good God is and the lifestyle that he came from up until now, and never give up on yourself. If you feel like it's something that you want to do, never wait on someone else to give you that push. You got to go out there on your own, and you got to get what it is that you want. Everybody may fail sometimes, but you have to learn to get up, brush yourself off, and start back over. Because there's nothing wrong with failing, because when you fail, that lets you see there that, okay, I didn't get it right that time, but the next time I know not to go that way, I'm going to go a different route.
Exactly. And I'm glad you said something about like failure. So many people think that when you get started with so many projects, whether it's podcasting, whether it's a business, whether it's just being a public speaker or a motivator, and when you don't succeed in the beginning, people automatically assume, oh, it's a failure. I'm going to go ahead and throw it away. I don't want to do it anymore, because they did not give themselves an opportunity to grow within it. And I think that speaks volume, as you said. You did put that failure piece in there, because everybody thinks as soon as you get started, you're successful. And it takes time
Right.
to be successful. It takes trial and error. It takes running into those hiccups, them stumbling blocks, roadblocks, and then coming out of it and then understanding like, okay, take a step back. Let me retry. Let me regroup, and then you find yourself succeeding. Long as you stay in it, I think that's the key
Right.
piece. Staying in it. A lot of people want to get up out of it, but I just wanted to add to that. Just stay in it. Don't allow failure to creep in your mind and make you feel like you fail because you haven't. You know what I'm saying? You fail when you stop trying. That's what I've
Correct.
always heard, and that's how I look at it. So moving forward, what does your 5-year plan look like with the podcast and things like that? Have you gotten to that point to say, okay, here's my 5-year plan?
I really haven't looked at my 5-year plan only because I've been in this podcast, I would say maybe about 2 years ago. I first started out as just coming on, praying and just talking to the people, letting them know how good God was, how good God is. And I would just pray. People would inbox me with a prayer request, and I would just get on and I would just pray and I would just let God use me in whatever way He saw fit. So as life went on and I came across some trials and tribulations, I failed. I pushed myself away from the podcast. People were asking me, why you're not on anymore? We needed to hear what you were saying. And I was like, okay, maybe later I'll try it again. But it was at that moment that they was needing that inspiration. They was needing that healing in their hearts where they was hurt and they was broke down. But at that moment, it was just something that I was like, okay, I can't get myself where I want to be in this podcasting. It's something that's missing. It's something that's missing. And I really feel like it was my connection with God. I took my eyes off of him for a moment and then I started swaying away. So recently it come back to me, you know what? You know your purpose, you see the vision, and you know your calling. I need for you to show me how much faith you have, and I need for you to step out on faith. And if you step out on faith, I will walk with you. And I said, you know what? I'm finna start my podcast back. So I started my podcast back, and a friend of mine was my first host, my first guest that I had on the podcast. And she talked about real estate and grants and helping the people. And within hours, I had like 1 point some K viewers. And I'm like, wow, are you serious? I've never seen this many viewers on a podcast. And I can hear God saying, I told you that if only you would obey me and that you would just walk with me, everything else would fall into place. Sometimes I do doubt myself, but I had to learn that if I pray and I ask God for something, it's no need of me doubting myself because I know that if I got faith the size of a mustard seed, He'll move all mountains out of my way. Um, I I really wanted to come in this thing kind of slow. That's why I said I haven't really focused on the 5-year plan for me. I really want to walk and take this thing step by step for now, just so I can also at the same time get a closer relationship with God also at the same time. If you understand the part that I'm saying. I maybe within months I can see myself, growing financially and viewer wise, throughout the whole podcast. I could just see myself growing. But at the same time, I don't want to move too fast because I don't want to lose focus on God.
Understanding that, and you talking God, when you talk God and you talk faith, right? My question
Mm-hmm.
is, how important is God to you?
He's my everything. Without God, I am nobody. Um, he wakes me up in the morning. He's my protector. He's my guider. He's my leader. He's my all in all. He have brought me through things in life that I couldn't have brought myself through it. When I was I was faced with death situations, it wasn't nobody but him that turned things around. I see him as a healer. I see him as a mind regulator. I see him as a heart fixer. Everything in my life that I have been through in my life, he has brought me out of everything that I have been through. I just can't understand a person that don't know who God is, or a person that just don't trust him, because all of my trust lies in him. All of my trust.
Okay, and the reason I'm on this God thing is because I'm a Christian, been a Christian all my life, and accepted Christ into my life at a young age, and still doing the will that God has called me to do in my life. So, can you tell people? Because some people are probably going to say, "Well, who is God? What denomination are you a part of?" If you don't mind speaking on that, are you
I'm a Baptist.
Baptist? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and the reason I'm saying this because so many people in so many religious, and I know this is probably going a different way just for this for quite a second, but so many people say God, but so many people don't believe in the true God. And I wanted to just make sure that when the listeners hear this, they understand what God are people talking about, because I ask myself that question when people say God. I'm like, hold on, wait. There's so many gods people have. Who
Correct.
are you speaking? Are you speaking on the true God, or are you speaking on, those different gods that people come up with? You said a great thing, talking that, you have faith. And as we know, with everything in life, faith is what drives us believers who believe in Christ. Let's talk faith real quick. Has your faith been challenged as you look into the podcast scene, coming back into the threshold of, hey, I want to get back into my calling? Has your faith been challenged? Let's talk that. Has your faith been challenged, and how?
Yes, I can say that my faith really has been challenged. And before I get to the faith, how my faith has been challenged, I want to say the part about you saying people really, some people say, who are God? The God that I trust is Jehovah Jireh.
Yeah.
My Alpha and my Omega, my beginning and my end, the one that turned water into wine, the one that took fish and 2 loaves of bread and fed a multitude. The God that the woman with the issue of blood touched.
Better talk it. You better keep talking that. Let's go. Yes.
He didn't see her, but he just knew that the power was released from his body, and she was made whole. She touched him through a crowd when there was so many people there, but she knew she knew what she was determined to do. She knew what she was set out to do, and she did what she said. All I have to do is just touch the hem. I don't have to touch his hand. I don't have to give him a hug. I just want to touch the hem of his garment.
Yep.
And I know that I'll be made whole. My faith has been challenged in so many ways. Relationship-wise, kids acting out, my mother been sick, my mother's still sick, different jobs, my finances. I mean, my faith has been challenged, but through it all, I've never lost nothing that was real important to me. Now, the things that I may have lost, I don't worry about that, because see, God says that when one door closed, he'll open up another door and another door and another door. So those small things that I lost, he was only moving those out the way, preparing me for the bigger things. I used to cry when I would lose a friend, but God started talking to me and speaking to me and speaking in my heart and letting me know that some of these people that you're losing in your life, when I elevate you to a higher level, they're not equipped to go to the next level that you go to. So I got to move them people out your way just in order for you to get that blessing that is meant just for you. My faith has really, really been challenged. But I had to learn for myself. I had to learn for myself that no matter what stumbling blocks people throw in my way, I have to use them stumbling blocks to step me higher and higher and higher. I understand that everybody is not going to be for me with this podcast, but I had to learn how to accept my haters because I wanted to be friends and I wanted to love and I wanted everybody to love me. But I had to see that everybody's not going to love me. Everybody's not going to be for me. They're going to watch my podcast. They might not hit the like or the love button, but I know that they're watching. So the faith that I have in my heart, the faith that I have in me, it may be small as a mustard seed, but like I said before, it'll move mountains. The faith that I have has brought me through sickness, crying late in the midnight hours, losing a lot of stuff. Sometimes I even lost my faith, but I had to realize that, you know what? Things are going to happen. Things are going to happen. But everything some things in life that happen is out of my control. That's when I got to turn it over to God. Push it out the way, and I got to let God handle it. And I have to stay focused on the prize.
And I like that. That is a great segue to move into the challenges that you face as an entrepreneur. And before we move into that, I just want to say that, when I started the podcast, because a lot of people think what they see and what they hear, that people didn't have challenges, right? And I've had to talk to God on plenty of occasions, right? Plenty of occasions. I'm like, God, what's going on? God, I'm trying to get this going. I'm trying to get that going. These are the desires that I have. And I just want to give some advice. Keep pushing, keep grinding, because when you grind, there's a greater reward for those who grind, and keep God at the same time. And I say that because there was something I wanted to do, right? And I did my first podcast tour back in December. And for years, when I first started it, I kind of was just starting out like the average person, right? They're like, I want to get into this, but don't really have an avenue. Don't have an avenue, but you want to get into it. And then years later, I was like, man, I want to do this and I want to do that. And I connected with people. So I'm just throwing that out there, connect. The connection is the biggest piece to this thing, because when I connected with somebody all the way in Kentucky and told them what I was trying to do. They didn't know me from a pint of paint, but I told them what I was trying to do, and God opened that door to be able to do those things that I wanted to do. And when I did those things, it helped me become a lot better. It helped me become one of those people that say, okay, now I know what networking is. I thought I knew what it was, but I know what it is now because I connected myself with people who said, you know what? I got a place. Come on down here and do it. And it took me just saying, hey, God, I need to get on this flight so I can get there. And everything else was taken care of. So when we talk about faith, and this is going back on faith, when we talk about faith, you got to really have that faith. Some people, sometimes we get down on ourselves, but having that faith and understanding who God is for who he is, and he'll make everything possible. So that's going to lead us into the segue of this challenges that you face being an entrepreneur and that you face. And I know you said some of it with being a podcaster, but what are some other things that you face when it comes to this journey of entrepreneurship?
Finances is one of my biggest challenges. I've never really been a big person on the network, because I've always been that type of person where if I walk into a crowd of people that I really don't know, I just want to sit back and just hear, take in a lot of stuff. I never asked questions, or I never just stood up in the crowd and just, whatever. Growing up in the church, I was a singer. I mean, I sung in front of so many people, but I just didn't understand the part of where the shyness was coming from. And then it was just, and then I started seeing that in different stages, it was the shyness, but other stages, I can go out there and laugh, and I can talk, and I can do this. It wasn't the challenge. But I had a friend girl of mine, and she has just started her podcast. And she told me she inboxed me and she said, no matter what you do, you got to stay the course. You got to stay the course. She said, and we have to stay connected. We have to learn how to network. Just as you said a minute ago, we have to learn how to network because you never know who see you and, you know, where they can actually take you. So the challenge that I have now is, you know, just getting out there, being seen, being heard, networking. Those are some of the few challenges that I have. But again, with my faith and my trust in God, I know that it will be turned around.
Oh yes, and definitely, and I just want to say this, while we're here, that make sure, and I want to be a part of that group of your networking people that you network with, because I think that we don't just meet people by coincidence in life.
Right.
Sometimes it's a reason why we meet people, and it's a reason why people come into our lives, and we connect with other folks, and it can lead us to where we're trying to go. And I had to learn that in my life because I was so used to doing everything myself, independent, right? We all talk, be independent. But when you're
Right.
independent, you kind of set yourself up sometimes for a failure because you don't allow people to come in and help. And the people that
Right.
want to help you and they have the resources and the tools, you kind of shun them. And then it's like now you're trying to find the resources and the tools that these same people already had. Now you kind of, it's like you're working harder than what you really need
Right.
to work because you're like, oh, I can do it myself. I'm good. I don't need you. So that's what I'm saying, stay the course, network, and that's why I want to be a part of it because the more of us together and networking, somebody has something we need and we have something that they need and we can put it together and it's going to flow in the way that it needs to flow.
Right.
When we move on and we talk entrepreneurship, you talked about the challenges. But now I want you to tell the listeners what entrepreneurship means to you. What does it mean to you?
Entrepreneurship to me is starting a business of your own, no matter what the business may be. It may be opening up your own law firm or opening up your own bank or whatever. It's a business that's designed, for you, something that you are opening up yourself, something that you starting from the bottom up. That to me, that's what entrepreneurship means to me. Starting and designing your own business.
Exactly. And that's big and powerful because I think so many people get into it but never define it. And I think we
Right.
have to define where we're trying to go, right? If I'm going on a vacation, I got to define what is my vacation, right? Where's my destination? How am I going to get there? So, like you said, entrepreneurship is so many different things. And I think being able to define it helps us on the journey and those who are listening on this journey when they're saying, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur. Now they have a person who came on and said, hey, entrepreneurship is this to me. If someone asked you for advice on being an entrepreneur, starting off, not having no money, what would you tell them if they came up to you? They didn't have no money. They're saying, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur. What would you tell them?
First, I would tell them to get a connection with God. Trust Him and believe in Him because He will never lead you wrong. Yeah. I would tell them no matter what they do, how hard it gets, stay the course. Every good thing in life don't just come easy. You got to go out there and work for what you want. If it's designed for you or if it's your calling and you know that it's your purpose, you have to go out there and you got to work for it. If that means late nights and early rising, that's what you have to do. Because if it's going to get money in your pocket and the bills paid, you got to do what you got to do. You're not going to just sit down on the couch and just think that, okay, somebody finna deposit some money in my account. I ain't got to do nothing. I can just sit here and watch TV. It's not going to work like that. You have to go out there and work and demand what you want in life. If I work, then I'm coming in at this hour. I need to leave at this hour. And it didn't work like that because see, I was working on somebody else's job. So I couldn't demand what I wanted on somebody else's job. So if it's something that you want, saying like your own hours, your own pay rate, you have to go out there and you got to start your own business, and you have to demand what it is that you want. You have to go out there and you have to work hard for what it is that you want. No matter how many tears you cry, because the road is not going to be easy. But I always remember a song that says, he didn't bring me this far to leave me. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I know somehow it's going to work out. And you have to keep that in your mind. Keep that in your heart. So I would tell anybody that's wanting to start their own business or entrepreneurship, if you feel like you can do it, and if you just keep faith, put God first at everything you do, he will not lead you wrong.
Great. And that's a great segment and a segue to say this. When you were talking about, the rising early and late nights, I remember being back in high school, my aunt told me something similar to that. She told me, she said, if you lay down all day, you're missing something. So you
Right.
need to get up early. And when you get up early, you need to get up early because somebody's going to outwork you. Somebody's
Right.
outworking you. And I take that to this day. Somebody's outworking me. If I'm asleep at 5 o'clock, somebody's up at 3. Somebody's recording
Mm-hmm.
at 3 a.m. Somebody's pushing something at 5 a.m. And when I look at that and I think about that, because you said that, and it reminded me of what my aunt said, that you got to remember that you got to get up early. And she also told me
Right.
sometimes you got to go to bed late, meaning 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And that's how I started my podcast. How legitimately, that's how I learned how to put all my stuff on all these platforms. No one taught me that. I listened to what my aunt said. And that's the thing about God. God will bring those things back to you. I remember what she
Right.
said. And I said, man, I got to stay up. I can't go to sleep because I'm trying to get on iHeartRadio. I'm trying to get on Apple Podcasts and all of these podcasts, things. And I realized it worked out because I didn't go to
Mm-hmm.
bed at 10 o'clock when I was feeling
Right.
tired. My eyes were dropping, but I said, no, I got to keep grinding. So, when you said all of those things, I wanted to just back that up so people understand, like, this is not a game out here. Like you said, when you want something, you got to work for it, right? How hard are you willing to
Exactly.
work? You know what I'm saying? How hard are you willing to work? I mean, you can go out here and work for somebody all your life, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want something greater, it demands a greater price. It comes with
Right.
the territory, So,
Mm-hmm.
as we get close to the close, you have social media. Where can people find you on social media if they're listening to this and they're saying, "Hey, I got to find out who this lady is. I got to find out. Where can they find you? Get them that information."
I do have Facebook. My Facebook name is Desiree Lamar, DesirEeLamar. And then I have my business page is Sit on the Couch and Let's Talk with Ree. That's my that's my podcast page. I have Instagram, and if I'm not mistaken, it's Boss Lady. I want to say it's Boss Lady Ree. I think that's the name that's on there. But mostly you'll be able to find me on Facebook under Desiree Lamar, or either Sit on the Couch and Let's Talk with Ree.
Okay. And when they find you on social media, they send you a message on social media. Are you gonna get back with them, or is it something like it sits in the inbox? Because people don't
No,
want to know that too.
now I listen, Leon, and I'm glad you said that, because I used to be big on not accepting friend requests. I used to be big on swiping them inboxes and put delete on there because it was so much scam going on. So I was like, you know what? I'm not finna do this. And then they come back and say, well, we got a grant for you. Have you ever heard of this grant, that grant? And I'm thinking it's actually somebody. So, but then I realized that, okay, now it's time for me to stop, and actually accept these friend requests, because you never know, you never know who you will run into or who you will meet on social media, because if you just pushing everybody off, you can be pushing off your blessing, or you can be pushing off your breakthrough. So I had to tell myself, baby girl, you got to stop doing that. You're gonna have to start opening up this mail, and you got to start replying back. So yeah, as soon as I hear that phone ding, oh yeah, I don't care what time of night it is, I'm gonna roll over and I'm looking at this message. So
Gotcha.
yeah, I promise you, I won't let you sit in the inbox. I will not let you sit in the inbox.
Okay, and final thing. Any final words you want to tell the listeners out there, who are just entrepreneurship? Maybe they're looking for God. Any final things you want to say before we close it out?
I would like my final things that I would like to say for anybody entrepreneurship, just stay focused, stay humble, and just stay consistent. Pray about it, and trust God. Now you do have to put in the work. You do have to put in the work, but while you putting in the work, stay the course, stay humble, and trust God. Anybody out there that's actually seeking God, He's not hard to find. You have to talk to Him just like you talk to your husband, your wife, your kids. You have to have a communication with God. And a lot of people say, well, I pray. It gets deeper than the prayer. You have to have an intimate relationship, conversation with God, because you have to talk to Him just like me and Fraser is talking right now. You have to tell Him what you want. You have to open up to Him. But I tell a lot of people, open up your heart, purify your heart, and accept yourself. You have to purify yourself, and then you have to accept who God really is. I promise you, you can't go wrong. If you trust Him, He will not lead you wrong. Never doubt Him. Never give up on God. When the times get hard, and it seems like you can't even see your way through, it seems like doors are closing everywhere around you, trust and believe, even in the midst of that, God is still real, and God will still see you through no matter what. If He did it for the Hebrew boys, if He did it for Daniel, I know that He'll do it for us. So if it's something in life that you guys want, you just got to go out there and just get it. You have to step out on faith. Step out on faith. Because He said that. So just trust Him. Just trust Him. And I want to say to you, Mr. Fraser, I really want to thank you for letting me come on tonight. I really, really thank you for the opportunity. It was good insights that was said from you on tonight. And I just pray that your business continue to prosper. I pray that you continue to stay focused, and that you just let God use you in a mighty way. I want to say thank you, and thank you again.
And you're welcome, anytime. And I want to appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to come on to the Fraser Chronicles podcast show. I want to tell everybody out there to listen to if you have not tuned into the Fraser Chronicles podcast show, start tuning in to the Fraser Chronicles podcast show. We're on all major podcasting platforms, so include iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasting. Make sure you go and look at Instagram and Facebook. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We're also check out our website, FraserChronicles.com, for all merchandise, for all past podcasts that you might have missed, and all our up-to-date podcasts and all our up-to-date news. And again, Desiree, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you for coming on and taking the time out of your busy schedule. As we all know, busy schedules, meetings, life, right? Everything we have going on, you decided to say, hey, yes, I'm going to stop, take some time to come on and hang out with Mr. Fraser. And you can, inbox me, DM me, and all of those great things. And again, like I said earlier, I want to make sure that everybody else hears this as well as you, that I want to be a part of your networking team. And I think that's going to go a long way when you have great people on your team. And when great people on your team, there's so much that you can do. So I want to say that. And thank you for coming on. And to all my listeners, you heard it here first. Hit that like, subscribe, and leave a review. Leave a review. Tell us how we did and did you like the show?
Right.